Chapter 21. True to the schedule, Ida arrived back at the hotel the following Thursday night. However, there was no message for her, even though Steve had checked out several days before, according to the helpful desk clerk. She kicked herself and hung her head in her hands, regretting her carelessness. When she'd arrived home the previous week, Isla settled down to ping off her first message to the email address on the business card he'd given her. But to her horror, this small business card was nowhere to be seen. She pulled apart all her luggage and still found nothing. Isla remembered having used it as a bookmark on the flight home, and her heart fell as quickly she remembered putting the book down on the plane, but couldn't remember picking it up again. The book was gone, and more importantly, so was her only way of directly contacting Steve. She tried to remember the name of the record company he worked for and rang what she hoped was his office number, but despite the request to be put in touch with Stephen Lewis, she got nowhere. He's based in the New York office at the moment, and is working with the... She blanked, unable to remember the apparently unforgettable band, the Cormacs. Record companies are used to girls getting in touch the morning after they've apparently lost a number. The unwritten policy was that unless they gave some sort of code word, the message was unrequited and contact was to be politely swerved. Nobody ever gave their bunk-ups the codes. Groupies were 10 a penny. It was typical of the male-dominated misogynism of the industry. Isla didn't care what the policy was, but quickly realised that her message was never going to get to Steve. All lines of communication between them had now evaporated, and she had no way of getting a message to him. The excitement she felt when entering the hotel had been replaced with sadness. She was an idiot. How could she have lost his card? Her bad mood intensified with the realisation that Steve had not left anything for her. The not knowing was awful. The least he could have done was muster up the decency to say to her, thanks, but no thanks. She had been stood up without an explanation. It seemed so much worse than being dumped in person. She knew her feelings were irrational, and she was really at fault. Steve had left the onus on her to get in touch when he gave her his card, and that's what they'd agreed would happen. He probably left New York thinking that it was she who hadn't bothered to contact him. However, he could have at least left a thanks for a great time message with reception. Whatever the truth was, it was not going to get him back.